Welcome back everyone. I have another video today. This one is a technique, a stainless steel TIG welding technique. Rather than dabbing the wire, this is going to be a lay wire technique that I'll be showing you. Working on some 6-inch right there, some what is it? Some TruBore 6-inch stainless. It's only 2 mil thick. Over here I got the tafts that I'll be welding onto it. 2 tafts and one 15 mil socket. Here I think the collar backs. Quickly run through some of the stuff I'll be using. I'll be drilling the hole with, I do have my my one from Fine, but I'm not about to use up my consumable when the company has free consumables. But right here is my new Fine drill. So this video ain't going to be released until this drill has been released too. Quickly pop off the end. Put this piece on it. As you can see, pretty fancy looking. Almost impossible to do one-handed. Here's a quick feature. So on the drill you've got screw mode. That's drill mode, screw mode, and that basically turns the clutches on. But I've never seen a drill that carries no momentum in the chuck when you're on a clutch setting. So this is the lowest clutch setting. Look at this. Put on full speed. Look at that. No momentum at all. I'm going to be running off this Miller Max Star 210, running on 3-phase power. I'm going to be capping it at 90 amps using 2.4 mil ESAB wire. So the purge gas, pure argon, running at quite a high number. I like a lot of flow, especially when you don't have to pay for the gas. Better to run a higher flow than lower. And then the purging gas, nitrogen essentially, running at around 14 liters a minute. Again, here's the pipe. I've cleaned the ends already. The earth is just a braided piece of earth cable cut up, and it rotates around the pipe. What else is there to run through? The torch. Just a jumbo size 12. Very short tungsten stick out because of the position that I like to weld. It's very, very short. I use 2 of these just because why not? Why not? For those of you who are new to what I'm about to do, I'm welding this taff onto this piece of pipe here. But in order to get a good weld, you need to fill the back compartment up with purging gas, which in this case is going to be nitrogen, because it's not for food, so it doesn't need to be super clean as if you was to use argon. So this compartment here is going to be filled with inert gas, meaning that the shielding gas on the outside and an inert gas on the inside will give you a perfect weld. If you didn't, you'd have issues like this one over here. I forgot to turn on the purging gas. So if you see the outside weld is fine, but if you look on the inside, that's called sugaring. You do not want that. You want your welds to look fancy. You want your welds to look like this. This is one of my pipes from earlier. Always put your flanges on before anything. That way there you don't forget it. And they are directional. There's a little bevel on this side and it's completely flat on that side. So right now this compartment's filling with nitrogen gas. It's tacked on with the purging line on the back side of it. Essentially it's ready to weld right now. It has got a crappy high-low, but that's just part of the process with this stuff here. You know, the fit up is never perfect. Obviously I could have spent more time to sort that out, but in my case it offers zero issue. So I'm just going to save time and just weld it up. Apologies about the quality. For some reason the camera wanted to keep on focusing on the weld and then my hand and then the weld. So in many parts it's just blurry. So I've just sped through it. But the proof of concept is there. It's just leaving the wire in the tip, at the tip of the molten pool and washing over it with the TIG torch. Now, we've had a lot of guys come through the workshop who can stainless steel TIG weld pipe, but they can't do this TruBore stuff because the technique that they're trying to do is different to the technique that you need for this TruBore stuff. So yes, it's very specific of a technique that you have to learn to do this TruBore things. I've not really done any other type of stainless welding, so I've been able to, you know, just hone my craft on this type of stainless, but I still get it wrong. Here's a prime example. So because I wanted to make sure I was always getting a route through, I do what everyone normally does, is just turn up the power. I'm running 90 amps. I don't do that anymore. I run 76 amps. It takes longer, but that's 76 to 85 amps, sorry, I should say. That there is a much better power to be at to get your nice route and a nice cap, because I weren't happy with these welds. So sockets are one of the hardest things to do to get a nice penetrating route all the way around it. I've done 2 tests for this job. One, the first test, it was just a socket put straight on top of a pipe and they wasn't looking for penetration, and the second one was the hole drilled and looking for full pen. And yeah, basically what I learned, just make sure that the pipe is cut to the outside of your socket and wash the weld onto the socket, but focus it on the pipe and you will get a route all the way through. But you have to make sure that the hole is to the outside of the socket, otherwise you ain't gonna be able to turn up the power to be able to just melt through the socket and the pipe all in one go.
You can use your fingers to zoom in on the camera.
Wiggle it off. I'd say this route was a big success. And even the socket. So the cap, it looks okay. It was running a bit hot. I could have turned down the power a bit. I don't particularly like the purplish colour. It's not, obviously it's not been nuked. It's not been nuked. But it's just one of them things where this shroud can only do so much when it comes to gas coverage. But the route's in nicely. Same, the socket as well. The socket came out nice. Here's the other side. I'll give it a little clean up, but it hasn't been nuked. A little squirrely right there, but what can we do? The route on this one here isn't perfect. Although it catches, I don't like the consistency part of that, but you know, it happens. It happens. I'm just happy that, you know, it's all the way in. So these are my welds now. I changed up the shroud. I've got a different type, but it's just the speed that I'm going is crazy slow, and that's because I've turned down the power. I'm running around 76 amps on a lot of these welds and a little bit more for the taffs, but ultimately the welds come out so much nicer, even though it takes more time. Putting on some of this acid, aka pickling paste, you put it over the welds and then come back and wash it off in an hour or so, and then you know, the welds come out nice and clean. You can already see it starting to work now. You don't want to be breathing this shit in. This stuff will put some hairs on your chest. But you can see right there the silver color already coming through. So one of my flaws is striving for perfection. So when a weld comes out like this, there's nothing wrong with this weld. Yes, it's inconsistent here and there, but from the welds that I've seen other people do, it is. I know many people who'll be happy with that, but for me, where it's not perfect, I'm not happy with it, and I'm a bit disappointed. And again, I was debating whether to release this video, but I'm going to anyway, because real world welding, not every single one of your welds are going to be beautiful, and sometimes there's imperfections in them. That's the case here. I'm just happy that, you know, my average welds are okay enough for me to be able to keep my job, essentially.